Have you ever thought about those moments in history, maybe quiet ones, that just change everything? Like a hidden discovery that doesn't make noise at first, but slowly unfolds to shatter a whole worldview.
Exactly. Sometimes it's not the loud revolutions, but these subtle shifts.
Right. And today, our deep dive is into one of those moments often kind of overlooked in math and philosophy, focusing on a figure named Hippasus and what feels like a silent wound.
It's a fascinating story. It really shows how even the most, solid seeming ways of seeing the world can crumble when faced with one simple truth.
So, our mission here is to unpack this story of Hippasus, his revelation, I guess you'd call it.
hmm And how just drawing a line across a square became this huge symbol of the incommensurable, something that really shifted Western thinking about reality itself.
And we're digging into this using insights from a really compelling source, Z.T. Tosha's work, The Spirit of Hippasus's Revelation, The Line Across the Right Angle.
Yeah, it's great stuff. But to really feel the impact, you first have to get your head around the Pythagorean world.
Okay, set the stage first. These weren't just people doing sums. Yeah.
Oh, not at all. For the Pythagoreans, number wasn't just a tool. It was like sacred, the actual blueprint of the cosmos, a divine language.
So everything was number.
Pretty much. Harmony wasn't just a nice idea. They believed it was the literal essence of existence.
Hmm.
Their math was almost a kind of liturgy, a way to connect with the universe's structure.
Wow. Like a spiritual practice through numbers.
Exactly. Think about music. The ratios of notes on a lyre weren't just sounds. They believed those ratios echoed the structure of the soul of the planet.
Well, they had this specific thing, the tetractes. That's one, two, three, four.
Right. The tetractes. That sequence, adding up to 10, was their symbol for the foundation of everything. It represented this geometry of clarity.
And this showed up everywhere.
Absolutely. In music, you had these perfect whole number ratios,
Yeah.
1 to 2 for the octave, 2 to 3 for the fifth, 3 to 4 for the fourth. They even imagined the music of the spheres.
Ah, yes, the unheard cosmic symphony.
Exactly. Unheard by us, maybe, but perceivable through pure intellect, they thought. Because the cosmos was number. It was knowable, perfectly ordered, perfectly legible.
A beautiful, neat system until
Until Hippasus, or someone like him, looked closely at something incredibly simple.
the diagonal.
The diagonal. This is draw a square, any square, then draw a line connecting opposite corners.
Seems harmless enough.
You'd think so.
Yeah.
But imagine Hippasus, steeped in this tradition, using their sacred tools, whole numbers, ratios, the logic of the tetractes, trying to measure its length relative to the side.
Okay, so he's trying to find that perfect ratio.
It just wouldn't work.
Hmm.
It refused to comply. No fraction, no ratio of whole numbers, nothing in their toolkit could precisely capture the length of that diagonal.
It didn't fit the system.
Not at all. We now know it, of course, is the square root of 2, an irrational number.
Irrational. A standard term for us in math class. But back then, that word meant something else entirely, didn't it?
Oh, completely. Irrational wasn't just quirky, it was borderline, blasphemous. It struck right at the heart of their entire worldview.
Because if the cosmos is number and number is rational, whole,
Then what is this? This length you can see, you can draw, but you can't express with their divine language. It was a quantity that defied being counted, defied being named in their terms.
it's like finding a word that doesn't belong in the dictionary of reality.
Kind of, it broke the mirror, as Tosha puts it, the mirror reflecting a perfectly whole cosmos. Suddenly the universe wasn't entirely legible anymore.
That must have been terrifying. Not just a math puzzle, but like finding a crack in the foundations of reality itself.
Absolutely. It was a genuine spiritual crisis,
Hmm.
a fault line beneath the temple. It introduced this idea of the incommensurable things that can't be measured against each other using whole units.
So this was the West's first real brush with this concept, something fundamentally ungraspable.
You could say that. A break in the idea of total understanding. Their certainty was built on the cosmos being knowable because it was number. Hippasus revealed a crack in that knowing.
He made the infinite visible, hiding right there in the finite shape of a square.
Exactly. A silence, a gap, where there was supposed to be perfect numerical harmony.
And, well, bearers of uncomfortable truths rarely get parades, do they? What's the story about Hippasus himself?
The ancient sources, often from later Platonists or Neo-Pythagoreans who kind of revered the original order, suggest he broke ranks. He might have revealed this discovery publicly outside the inner circle.
Which would have been a huge betrayal of their secrecy.
A massive one. And the legends say he was drowned at sea for it, either by divine retribution or, maybe helped along by his fellow Pythagoreans.
Wow, whether that's literally true or an allegory.
The meaning is stark, isn't it? What he uncovered couldn't be unseen, but they desperately wanted it unspoken. It couldn't be allowed to spread and destabilize everything.
He didn't just draw a line on parchment. He crossed a line in thought, a threshold of what people were ready to accept.
Precisely. That diagonal wasn't just geometry, it was metaphysics. It whispered about an infinity lurking just beyond their perfect ratios.
The source brings up an interesting angle on this exile or punishment idea, though.
Yes, that perhaps exile isn't always just a penalty. Maybe sometimes it's the natural consequence of getting closer to a difficult truth.
The space you enter when you just can't pretend the old map works anymore.
Right. So Hippasus becomes less of just a rebel and more of a quiet witness to a more complex reality than the one he inherited.
Which leads to reframing the whole discovery, doesn't it? Maybe it wasn't about failure.
I think that's the crucial shift in perspective. Hippasus didn't show that number failed. He revealed its hidden depth, its unexpected complexity.
So he didn't destroy harmony.
No, maybe he expanded what harmony could even mean. He showed it's not always about perfect, simple totality. Maybe harmony involves tension, contradiction even.
Like arranging the unmeasurable parts into a pattern you can sense, but never fully pin down.
Exactly. It's not the absence of contradiction, but this delicate balance that includes the incommensurable. That line across the square becomes, as the source says, a kind of spiritual condition.
What does that mean, a spiritual condition?
It teaches us something fundamental, that beneath any order we perceive, there's always something that resists being fully named or categorized.
Every system has its secrets.
Every square contains a silence. Every framework, maybe, harbors something that would unravel its own certainty if fully explained from within.
It makes you think about which truths feel most unsettling.
And often, it's not the ones that flat out deny what we believe. It's the ones that just stretch our beliefs.
Right.
Gently, maybe, but just beyond their comfortable limits.
Like Hippasus did. He forced this confrontation with something that refused perfect proportion.
And in that refusal, that unfitness, as Tosha suggests, that's where the real resides. It's not always neat.
So, bringing this forward, what's the echo of Hippasus's revelation for us now?
Well, it wasn't just about discovering the square root of 2, was it? It feels like this courageous act of seeing the infinite tucked inside the finite.
Then maybe realizing harmony isn't just about predictability.
Right. It's a more restless harmony, one that includes shadow and silence, just as much as light and sound.
That diagonal line, then, feels surprisingly relevant today.
I think so. It's a reminder, isn't it, that our thinking needs to stay porous, open to the things that don't quite fit our categories easily.
That may be real wonder, real insight starts right where our language, our systems begin to falter.
Precisely.
So for you listening, maybe the invitation is to walk that line sometimes, that delicate edge between the order we know and the mystery that lies just beyond, between certainty and wonder.
And maybe consider this. Perhaps the deepest truths aren't found in the final tidy answers.
But where?
Maybe they live in the space between, the unspoken breath, the gap where understanding is still unfolding.
Like Hippasus, hearing a different kind of music after his discovery, quieter, maybe more fractured, but also more spacious.
Yeah. We can find a new kind of harmony even in those moments that seem like breaks or failures.
Yeah.
That line across the known.
It's not a wound.
It's a threshold. And we're always, in some way, stepping across it.